women, 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 women. I applaud that. But at first, I want to say a few things before we get deep into the video. I support women having the same exact rights and opportunities and responsibilities as men. I don't see why they wouldn't. They're humans. We wouldn't be here without women, right? Secondly, remember this, women, when you're going on this tangent and you're promoting singlehood and you're promoting successful women, happy women, peaceful women, what have you, whatever. Remember that it was not black men that were keeping you from having equality, because our ass was shackled too, okay? It was white men that said that you are not equal to men or white men, not niggas. Don't put that shit on niggas. In the patriarch system, I can say that a lot of older men did want to make sure they kept a woman right up under them. But in regards to that particular point, do women not realize that most of them are religious, aka Christian? And in Christianity, if you know your shit, it goes God, man, woman, children. How do women think that they're equal if they're considered a helpmeet or helpmate? I don't understand. That's why I'm glad I'm out of religion, because I never believed the shit really anyway. It was forced upon me. I didn't get an option or a choice to believe it. But when I did more of my research, I'm like, yo, this shit's foul. And if you pay attention throughout the Bible, it degrades women often. So I don't know how they're going to be Christian and still promoting this positive single womanhood thing. I don't know. Feminism, whatever, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. They contradict each other. Somewhere around the late 70s, early 80s, that wave, which put more and more women into positions of power, sexual liberation movement, which is funny to say out loud, because making it easy for niggas to fuck, suck, and duck is what most niggas wanted anyway. Sex with no strings attached, most men are gonna sign up for that. So if you think you're liberating yourself sexually by having sex with a man with no strings attached and doing the whole Sex in the City and I got the power and I can fuck 10 niggas and they make me feel powerful, have at it. More vagina for niggas. Niggas ain't gonna complain about that, brother, right here. Because every time I see his content, I try to digest it insightfully and logically and fairly, but I can't find any logic in it.
Here's the thing about the male loneliness epidemic. First off, can we agree epidemic is like a little dramatic, It's can we at least be real about that? It requires a level of intellectual honesty about what exactly is happening, and not only what's happening, more importantly, why it's happening. The why is so much more important. This phenomenon where women are not dating or sleeping with men as often as they used to. And the reason why it's called a male loneliness epidemic versus a female loneliness epidemic is that women tend to rectify their loneliness via their friends, their family, a support system, therapy, hobbies, stuff like that.
It's not that serious. Trust me, it's not that serious. If it was that serious, you would see a lot more men online crying about being single and having no hobbies, and all of the world revolves around women. A lot of them are not getting laid like they used to. A lot of them don't have the power that they used to. They have to share power with the rest of us lonely peasants, and they don't like that. A lot of them see equality as a negative thing. They see it as regressive, right? They see it as, hey, I've always been able to do whatever I want to the whole wide world, and now a lot of times I get checked for doing exactly what's in my heart, which is evil a lot of times. So a lot of them are upset, right? That's why they're making laws so women can't get abortion, mainly white women, so that they can continue to produce their seed. They were the ones that instituted marriage in America. It wasn't everybody else. But that's another story. Second thing I want to address that he said is that women have a large support system. Exactly. How the fuck are you ever lonely or independent and you always have someone to help you? How? Y'all have a village. When you think about, especially in the black community, there's always mama, grandmama, auntie, cousin, friends, all of that, right? Women have a system of sisterhood, even if it's small sometimes. Now, I'm not mad that they have it. I'm glad that they have it. We need to have more community in our community, right? Key word in community is unity. Communication and unity makes community. That's what we need in our community, especially in the black community. But to act like that it's the same for a man being alone as it is a woman going through this world is complete bullshit. And it ignores the nuanced conversation and undertones of that particular topic. Say that men should be more supportive of one another. They should be focused on each other's survival and progression and unity and love and respect and admiration and giving each other flowers. Me and my cousin, every time we talk, me and him, we both married, large families, and we both say, how's your mental health going? We never get off the phone without saying I love you. That's my bro. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of men don't feel comfortable in that space because where was that nurtured, or where was that started at? So if that's not something that's nurtured or started, you can't expect a lot of men just to pop out of thin air saying, yeah, man, we got a brotherhood and I love you, bro. A lot of times men don't feel comfortable sharing their feelings with anyone except their children. And even that can be a little funky sometimes. But there has to be a space and a place for that when they're young, developing into men, so that they can be nurtured. And yes, men, we have to do a better job of nurturing that, creating that space. We have to do a better job of looking out for each other mentally and physically. The way that women have their community, we should have our community. That has nothing to do with them specifically. Shout out to all the podcasts and the creators out there in this world that are creating a safe space and a healthy space for men.
That if women felt safe and respected by men, they'd be more inclined to have romantic interactions with them. But what we see time and again is that when women express that they feel unsafe or disrespected by men respond by being unsafe and disrespectful. And while that's already an issue by itself, it becomes much worse when you consider the fact that the guys who aren't doing that, the quote-unquote good ones, the quote-unquote protectors, they're not doing anything about the shitty ones either. In that kind of environment, in that sort of climate, it makes sense if women aren't fucking with dudes as much as they used to. This is why the whole you're just white knight and you're just pandering shit doesn't make sense. If you consider yourself a protector, or if you're just somebody who wants women to fuck with dudes more, you should be just as upset about the shitty ones too.
Another motherfucking lie that I must dispel is that if men were more respectful and made women feel more secure emotionally and physically, that they would be more inclined to be romantically involved with men. First of all, the male loneliness part is not strictly about physical intimacy. It's about the fact a lot of men are not seen in society. They are not heard in society, only if they're useful. I seen a quote that said, they don't check on men to see if they're okay. They check to see if he's still useful. For most men in America, we are seen as tools. We are seen as inanimate objects. We are seen as nothing more than a means to an end. Most people don't care about our mental health. They don't care about our physical desires. They don't care about our goals, our dreams. They don't care about our character. They don't care about our happiness. They don't care about our satisfaction. They don't care about our dislike for things that are done in society. They don't give a fuck. So saying that if women felt safer, they would automatically just basically give the man all the love he needs and deserves. That's bullshit. Women overall prefer to have sex with a toxic man. Stop acting like Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Good Guy, Mr. Accountable, Mr. Responsible, Mr. Gentleman is the guy that gets girls' panties wet. That's not it. Hasn't been that way in a long motherfucking time. Because if that was true, it wouldn't be so many single mothers out here. It wouldn't be so many children made out of wedlock if women really wanted Russell Wilson. No, they want Future. Most of them want Future, and later on they want to turn them into Russell Wilson, when you could have had a Russ the whole fucking time. Even my wife says it. Women will make rules for the nigga that she don't like, but they will break all of them for the nigga that she really wants. So when y'all talk about consuming this red pill content, the main thing that red pill tells men is not to be simps. Why the fuck would you want your son, your uncle, your granddaddy, your father, your cousin, your little brother to be a fucking simp? Weak, no backbone. Why would you want him to not be able to stand up to a woman, but you expect him to stand up for a woman? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, he is right about the why. The why should matter more than anything in the world, because the why is the centerpiece. It is the source of what the problem is, right? It is the causation. But that applies to everything. I don't know why that does not apply to women as well. Because the why is how we got here in the first place. There is a division between men and women. We should understand that we are all growing in different types of ways. The old ways and the traditional ways don't specifically work in the modern era of dating and marriage. So they should be updated, maybe not completely removed, because there's still a lot that's good from that era. But they should be updated. Just like when you update your resume when you're looking for a new job, right? For the most part, men are operating under a set of rules that women said that they wanted. They wanted women to have more say in the household, responsibility financially, and said they wanted more equality, which means more equal responsibility. Men are the ones that are largely in sexless marriages that are complaining, not women. Women wanted us to share our feelings and get in touch with our feminine side more. We never asked them to get more in touch with their masculine side. You didn't see any charge being led by men for that. If you are a good man, you should be as concerned. Of course. But that's why when good men like myself make videos, we call out men and women. Now remember, the Godfather, may his soul rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, when he was calling out men, saying we need to do better, no one gave a fuck. When he started calling out women, black women specifically, that's when it was a problem. Even my wife says she can't tell black women shit. You can't. It's more difficult to talk to women than y'all think. I used to have the same issue with my wife and women in my family. It's almost impossible to tell you shit. Even when you ask a genuine question, it's almost impossible to get anything of logic into your head. A man can literally take the high road, compromise, be accountable, be present, be emotionally available, and a woman will still say, I'm still having a rough time connecting. I'm still not sure. I don't know what I want to eat. Your ego is blocking the unification. Your ability to not listen, but always have to have the last word and always talk, is what's blocking the problem being solved. You ever notice that when you come to a man with a solution, we don't tend to get upset? If it's delivered in a proper form, we don't tend to get upset. But when you come to a woman after she's venting, should I say when she's venting, and you provide a solution, she seems to get more upset. You ever try to calm a woman down? Have you ever told a woman no to sex? Those of us who have, we know what that really looks like. And you don't often see it televised. You don't see it promoted. You don't see them talk about it. So when you're talking about being a better man, which I 1,000% sure agree with, that men should be better men. I encourage men to be better men. I don't hang around fuck niggas. Anybody who know me know I stand on business at all times. But if good men are going to encourage other men to be good men, when are women going to encourage more women to be better women? Because if you got a bunch of good men, now you have gentlemen back again. But gentlemen for who? It's women that have largely killed romance, R&B, love. I believe that women should be single if they want to. But as my wife said, if you're so fucking happy being single and think that you not having kids is making you have the best life of all time, why every 2 seconds do you need to tell us that shit? Why are you trying to take women that are in long-term relationships, that are in marriage, that are happy? Why are you trying to remove them out of that? The Aisha Curry syndrome. Except in reverse. If I'm a happily married man, right? Why would I encourage other men to not be happy, to not be monogamous, to not be considerate of their mate, to not be loving, to not be, a great parent, a great role model? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But we have good women out here and simp ass niggas that are pandering, trying to get everybody to be divided. They're not preaching unity. They're preaching your happiness should come before everything in the world. If you have to burn the world down to get your happiness, you should do that. That doesn't make you a good person. It makes you a terrible human. Everybody's happiness should be equally important. Satisfaction should be equally important. But we don't hear enough from happily married or happily long-term relationship people on the internet. I've been with my wife 16 years. We done seen everything from the top to the bottom. But when we start to unpack what was wrong, what was the problem, started to realize it had nothing to do with us. It had more to do with how we were raised and how we were taught. The miseducation. The bad information, the bad role models. So what we had to do is we had to do surgery on self, internal. So we couldn't pray about it. Couldn't go to church and get it out of us. Go to therapy and try to remove it. We had to do the work on self. And that's what y'all are asking men to do, right? Now that men have done quite a bit of work on self, and men are saying, okay, I'm gonna leave you the fuck alone. You told us to leave you the fuck alone. Time's up. Me too. You told us to make you feel safe. Stop trying to talk to you at the store all the time. Men have done that, and now you're complaining. You don't see men making videos about going to singles events and there are no women showing up. Women are making those videos. You don't see men get on the internet complaining about, I'm lonely, I feel like I'll ever find somebody, no one's ever gonna love me, I'll never be, you don't see men do that. Even when men become single parents, you don't see them get on the internet and cry about it. Niggas may not love it, but they take it on the chin. Like, as a boy growing into a man, you learn at a very, very early age, most of the world don't give a fuck about me. Even my wife said, if most women were men for just a month or 6 months, they wouldn't make it. They did an experiment where a lady unalived herself because she was a man for months or something like that, had to live as a man for like a year as an experiment or something. And she ended up committed suicide later on. They can't believe how invisible they are. Like, damn, don't nobody give a fuck about y'all? Exactly. And then they program the children to not give a fuck about us. So quit saying that if men just show up as the best version of themselves, that automatically women are going to feel more safe around us and are going to be better women than what they are. That's not fucking true. It's women who stopped the gentleman from being the prominent selection as a mate. Listen to most women describe men. They have no interest in gentlemen. What they'll describe as a simp / thug with a big wallet and a big dick. Don't forget that. I'm against simping. I'm against pandering. I'm against ego. I'm against lack of accountability, lack of responsibility, lack of logic, lack of control of emotions, liars, killers, murderers, rapists, you name it. I'm against all that shit. And notice how I didn't have to put a gender on it to be against it.